Hey everyone, so it's Hearth and welcome back to my channel. So on today's video I'm going to be talking about my personal deities and how I found them. So I've been asked a couple of times who my deities are, if I have any, and how I work with them. And this is one of those topics where it's very personal, in that not everyone is going to have the same deities, not everyone is going to have found them the same way, and not everyone is going to work with them the same way. So this is just my personal experience with deities. It is not the only experience that people have with deities. Lots of people find their deities and work with their deities in completely different ways. So this is just my personal experience with deities and working with them. Now, another thing I just want to put out there right now is that you do not need to have deities to practice witchcraft. I was actually a practicing witch for a very, very long time before I found and started working with deities. So if you aren't interested in deities, if you haven't found them yet, please don't be alarmed. It is completely normal. Not everyone works with deities, and you know what? That's completely fine. The first thing is, who are my deities? At the moment I have two deities. My matron is Bridget, she is a Celtic deity, and I also have Ceridwen as a deity. Now there's kind of a close connection between these two that I find kind of quirky and interesting, is that I am personally a hearth witch, and both of these deities are actually hearth, home and cauldron deities, all things really closely connected to hearth witchcraft. So both of my deities are really closely connected to the idea of hearth and home and hearth witchcraft, and that's really interesting because I only really found my deities after I'd started actively practicing as a hearth witch, as a hearth practitioner. So the next thing is, when did I find my deities? I actually only found my deities about 2 years ago, which seems really strange for a lot of people because a lot of people go into their practice knowing the deities they want to work with or find their deities really quickly. But for me, I'd already been practicing witchcraft for 11 years when I found my deities, and they just kind of appeared one day. I didn't really expect to find them. Suddenly they were just there. It just kind of happened. So how did I find my deities, or did they call out to me? And that's the main thing in this, is that I didn't actually actively want to work with deities. Like, it had never really been something that I'd considered. I'd called upon Nyx and Poseidon in one ritual once, like 8 years ago or something crazy like that. Like, I had never planned on working with deities. It was just something I hadn't really thought about doing. So I actually discovered my deities in kind of an unusual way, in that I didn't actively seek out deities. So I wasn't looking up deities, I wasn't trying to find one that I connected with or multiple that I connected with. I just started hearing names in my head. That sounds really strange actually saying it out loud. What I mean is that one day I was at university and I heard the names Bridget, Ceridwen, Bridget, and thought, yeah, they must just be people I know or something. Or I've been to Lush and the Ceridwen bath melts there, and Bridget is quite a common name, it's probably just that. And then I went to Earth Religion Society, which is the pagan and witchcraft society I used to attend at university. And I was hearing the names appear quite a lot there as well, and didn't really think anything more of it. And then I went to Glastonbury. Now, if any of you have been on this channel for a while, you know I go Glastonbury quite a lot. And there's a shop in Glastonbury called Star Child that is an amazing store. And I went in there and I was actually vlogging the day that I went into that store and realised. And I actually have the footage. I don't know whether it's decent enough footage to add it in, but if it is, I will add it in kind of after this little speaking bit. And I'd spent the entire week with these names in my head: Bridget, Ceridwen, Bridget, Ceridwen, and I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what it was connected to. I hadn't researched kind of Celtic British deities before. And then I walked into Star Child and I looked at their wall of incense, and there on this wall of incense were all of the deities that were most commonly found. and right there, Bridget and Caridwen. And as soon as I saw those two names, it just clicked in my head immediately, and the voices made sense. I knew then that they were trying to reach out to me. I wasn't just thinking of the names, I hadn't just heard them recently. I had actively been kind of called out to by these deities. So I got the Bridget incense straight away, and I have been working with them gradually ever since. So that's kind of how I kind of found my deities. Not everyone is going to find them in that way. That's just the way that they came to me. So the next thing is, how do I work with them? Well, I have a slightly flexible relationship with my deities. I am not like devoted, giving them offerings every day, working with them every day. It's not really that kind of a relationship. They both have altars. You have seen Bridget's altar, which is over there, and I actually have a video on Bridget's altar that I will link somewhere up here, and also in the description box if you're interested in seeing that, but I am planning on doing an update to it soon because I will be changing it. So I have a Bridget altar. I also have a Caridwen altar. Caridwen's altar isn't as finished and as nice, just because I haven't really had the time and the patience and the money to be able to do it how I want to. But Bridget's altar is finished and Caridwen's altar is kind of halfway there. But they both have altars that are completely individual. They're in different rooms because they are very different deities. They're almost like polar opposite deities. And with Bridget, I have a bell that I ring, and she is my matron. She is the one that calls out to me the most. She is the one that spoke to me the loudest, like Bridget, 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 Caridwen, Bridget, 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 you know, it's that kind of a reaction. So I have a couple of Bridget figures, like ritual figures. I have some illustrations, I have the crystals, I have the incense, I have the oil, I've got everything for Bridget. And she is more of a watchful eye. She's more of a looks out and will help if necessary. She's that kind of a deity. Caridwen is slightly different. I have a wand for her, I have tools for her, I have crystals for her, I have an oil for her. But my relationship with Caridwen is different again from Bridget. Bridget is what I would like to describe as almost a fairy godmother. She's kind of this watchful eye. She looks over my practice, she looks over me, and if necessary, she may intervene. Caridwen is much more hands-on. She wants to be in ritual, she wants to be in working, she wants to help with workings as long as I am kind of giving back to her, thinking of her, of planning with her, of kind of maintaining the altar as best I can, that kind of a relationship. She wants to be part of workings. So whereas Bridget, I will celebrate Bridget in bulk. I will celebrate her, I will ring her bell, I will kind of acknowledge her presence, add extra items to the altar. Caridwen wants to be there, she wants to be doing stuff. So I've never had Bridget call out to me in a ritual. But I've spoken about this before. I have had Caridwen actively kind of walk into a space and say, hey, I want to help, can I help with this? So I was doing a binding work, and Caridwen is one of kind of the darker crone goddesses. She's quite dark and kind of destructive. She's a deity that is very much she will bitch slap you around the face if she knows that it will help you. That kind of a deity, whereas Bridget is a bit more motherly, loving, kind. You know, she'll always try to say something nice even if it might not be what you need to hear. Caridwen really will just like slap you around the face and go, stop it, get on with it. That's just how Caridwen kind of is. So I was doing a binding work to bind someone's negativity, and Caridwen was like, hey, do you want me to help with that? And I was like, yes, that would be amazing. So I ended up working with Caridwen on this working, and now the working sits on Caridwen's altar where it kind of continues to manifest. So I work completely differently with the two different deities, and it really depends on your personal relationship with deities. My relationship with Bridget is completely different than it is with Caridwen. But one is not better than the other. They are just equal deities that I work with slightly differently. So that is currently how I work with the two different deities. It is definitely interesting, and I've actually really enjoyed experimenting and experiencing working with deities because I'd never really done it before in this way. Now, the last thing I want to add in is that do you need a deity to have successful magical workings and to be a witch? And no, you definitely don't. If you don't want to work with deities, if you haven't found your deities, if you haven't been called out to by your deities, that is completely fine. Your witchcraft does not need deities to work or to be successful. Deities are really kind of separate. They're more in the religion aspect than the practice, and witchcraft is exactly that. It is a practice. You don't need deities to assist with it. They can assist with it, but they aren't a requirement. So I just want to put that in, just to say that I was doing successful magical practice for 10 years, 11 years, and I'm still doing successful magical practice now. It's not really changed just because I now have deities that I didn't have before. So that is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to give it a like. If you have any questions, comments, queries, concerns, or just want to chit chat, please feel free to put a comment down below. If you have any questions, I will try to answer it either in comment form or in video form, depending on how long my answer is. And if you enjoy the magical content in this video and on this channel, feel free to subscribe. I post new videos every Wednesday and Saturday at 6 o'clock. So I will see you next time. Bye!